Hi friends, welcome to my videos. So today in this video we are going to discuss about top mistakes in spouse sponsorship applications Canada to avoid. So before I proceed further, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe because I regularly upload videos and I'm always open to your suggestions, questions, comments and anything else that you want to post as comments, and I am always open to what you want to see. So if you want to see something in future, please let me know as a comment so that I can add that in my future videos list. Alright guys, so let's proceed. The very first thing I would like to talk about is updated forms. I mean, if you see any application on IRCC, not only the spouse sponsorship, if you see their application package, you're going to see the form name, form number, and also the date. So indirectly you can understand the version. Okay, so when you're filing your application, make sure you use the most recent one. Of course there is no equation of it. For example, suppose today is May, you are in process, I mean this happened with me. Let me tell you my story. Like I applied in April back in 2016, so for my wife. So somewhere around that they changed the form, and the day they changed the form, one day before I had filled that form. So I sent the application and it was accepted. So what I mean to say, like, always check for the latest, and if you can use the latest one, that's the best thing you do. And if you use anything that is way old, there is a chance that your application could be returned to you. People have posted that. If there is not so much difference, then it can be accepted as it was accepted in my case. But always be careful, try to use the most recent version, and always, like, use recent version, and always download your forms from the official IRCC site. Do not download it from anywhere else. This is the very first thing I'm going to talk about. All right, the next thing we are going to talk about now is leaving fields blank. Now, some of the forms, like generic application form and all, there what happens, like when you fill any information, like you select category, your marriage, and other piece of information like your address, residential and mailing address. So this is a dynamic form. Based on your first answer, other fields get enabled, disabled. So there are very less chances that you would miss anything, and and also that has got mandatory checks also. But let's come to a form like family information form, where you need to put information about your family members. Consider a scenario like you are a principal applicant, and in your family information form there's a field to put the information about your brothers, sister and all. So suppose you don't have any, but you leave it blank. Don't do it. Instead of that, put an A, not applicable, so that the officer, whoever refers your form, when you submit, they get a clear idea. Okay, and this does not sound even suspicious. And in all forms, wherever you see that there's a field that is not applicable to you, it's always good to write not applicable. And for all IRCC application this is the case. Like, don't leave anything, any field blank that you are supposed to fill. In that case, put not applicable. For example, if they ask for your employment history, you have no employment, you are being sponsored as a spouse and you have not worked, just put not applicable, and in your cover letter or an explanation document you can define this. So this is a thing that you should be aware of. Next point we discuss is not providing enough or correct proof of relationship. If you go to IRCC's application package, I mean the checklist, they have defined what are the evidence you need. So sometimes people miss to attach the correct set of evidence, and that may lead up to some adverse cases. Like, they may ask for additional evidence, they may ask you for an interview. So just read the checklist properly, and whatever they have asked, please share in the correct way so that you can avoid any delay or any other issue this may cause. Now, the biggest mistake that I would tell you is like representation. I mean, like deliberately lying on your application, deliberately trying to hide something, deliberately to trying to put some misinformation. Never ever do this, because if you do this and you are caught, then there will be consequences you don't want to. You know that this is a federal crime to lie on your visa application. So never ever do this. If there is a problem in your application, like suppose you have a prior criminal conviction, check it that okay, how this can be handled, how this can be managed. Contact the correct set of legal people, those who can help you, and find out as much information you want to get it addressed. But never lie on your application, because this is a crime, and that too you are going to do it deliberately, knowing what consequences it may lead to. So never ever do that. Always be 100% honest. Next, like that permanent residence fee, when you apply, that has got two components. One is right of permanent resident component, and one is processing fee. So you have an option to pay the right of permanent resident fee at a later stage when your application reaches that. Some of the candidates go for it, but it's always recommended to pay that fee in advance, because that would avoid some unnecessary delay. Because what would happen, like when your application reaches at that stage, uh, and IRCC wants you to now go ahead and pay. So in this stage, there could be some delay, because first of all you get a communication from them, and then you go for it, and then ultimately it comes out, oh, it delayed my application for any time, whatever. Why would you want to do that? If you clear it upfront, that step will not even come, because IRCC would have this in records that, oh yeah, this fee is already paid, let's go ahead to the next stage. So always do this. Next, your application should be correctly filled in. If you see the checklist, they have clearly defined where who needs to sign. You need to understand that that this application has two components: sponsor and sponsored person. So the sponsored person is the principal applicant. So there are certain forms for sponsors, there are certain forms for sponsored person, or you can say the principal applicant. So you guys are filling up the forms correctly with respect to your roles, because there have been cases where people have swiped the forms. Never do that. That would not fall in your favor anyway. And it's always a good idea to recheck your application once you complete it, with your careful eyes, with proper peace, so that you do not miss anything. Like even a signature miss can cause your application to be returned, and then it would take unnecessary delay at your part. Never do that. Make sure you fill your application correctly. Make sure you recheck it once at least. You can do it more than once. Like when I sent my application, I checked it twice, each and every, and different times, not one after one. Once I did in morning, once I did at evening, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And next day I submitted my application, and it went through straight away. So always do that. That really helps. So this is very important. Not common, but sometimes I have seen, like and even I've heard, like people have done something. I mean, they missed their police clearance certificate from one country where they lived, and they found it, and they thought it was not necessary, but it was necessary. So if you read the criteria specified on IRCC website about police clearance certificates, it's very clear you have to get it. And there are processes also, and they have also defined the authorities from where you can get it. So always make sure that you get your police certificates, your police clearance certificates. With these points in your mind, I suggest, like as I said earlier, be honest, be careful, fill all documents carefully, always have peace of mind while submitting your documents, while filling your documents. Read it, check it, attach enough evidence as they have asked for a relationship, pay all the fees in advance, and then send your application. So I hope you like this video. Make sure to give it a like and comment, and if you have any concern, any question, anything, please put as a comment. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you.